Welcome to my kitchen. Today is a class all about leafy greens. Okay, all the things. I mean, they're not. I didn't think this class would be my most popular, and yet it is. But normally people always say, like, you know, a bit like you, Nat. Yeah, not a big fan, and that's okay. I used to be not a big fan either. However, these things, I have a way, we nutritionists, food lovers, have a way to make them taste good. I'm going to try to communicate that to you, to show you tips and techniques to make them taste amazing so that you can incorporate them at every meal. I'm going to tell you something. I eat greens, some kind of greens, morning, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I always think, what green can I have today? In my smoothie, bam, I put one of them that I have here. In my lunch, I add a few chopped, and I normally eat them raw for lunch as a salad base. Up, you've got some leafy green. And for a snack, I juice something, you know, with oranges, apples, and some spinach or some kale in there. So every time I eat something consciously, I try to make sure that there's something green in it, for the reason that it's the most nutrient-dense food that you can find. It's top of the list in the nutrition world, in the health world. It's like the rock star. And there's a variety of them, and all provide different vitamins, mineral, phytonutrients that are essential for your body to function normally, essential for your hormones to perform the way optimally, essential for your well-being, your mood, your digestive system, your bowel movement to keep you regular. I'm sorry, we're going to talk about that too. They're essential to make you thrive through the day. They will give you energy as well. So it's a very interesting thing to think from now on, what green can I incorporate in an omelette, in a salad, etc. Okay, so they're super rich in micronutrients. So that in itself should be a reason for you to add more. But they also improve, like I said, your bowel movements. The fiber and the water content of each of these make sure that you bulk up your stool basically, and make sure that you are regular and you go every day. Sorry, I'm just going to stop here, but they're super important because that's the principle of a healthy person. Okay. Now they can also, and most people don't know that, they can also improve your mood and your sleep quality. People who can't sleep well at night should look more into adding more of these in their diet. The reason for that is that it contains something called choline, and it's a precursor to a neurotransmitter of happy mood and calm. And so this choline, it depends on where you come from, is super interesting in that perspective. So
that's good for my teenager. Clément needs to
yeah, give him a lot of greens. He'll stop being this annoying teenager. Yes. That's true application. It also helps, and that's for us women, maintain a healthy skin, a radiant glow, a healthy skin. And that is because of the two things: the beta-carotene, which is a precursor to vitamin A. So all these foods contain beta-carotene. We normally know it from the orange-looking food, but there are some in those leafy greens, and also full of vitamin C. And the vitamin C is a perfect antioxidant, fight free radical damage, keep your skin looking young, doesn't get rid of wrinkles. There's no magic pills, but it delays the signs of aging. It keeps you having a youthful glow. So that's what we all want. It helps that actually those beta-carotene and vitamin C helps your skin repair and produce more new skin cells. Two other things, it helps with iron deficiency. So if any one of you knows that they're deficient specifically in iron from your recent blood test or anything, this is a very interesting source. When we talk about iron, we often think, oh, I need to eat more red meat. Yes and no. So yes, it's true that there is a good type of iron in beef and in grass-fed meat. However, there are other things that are more damaging. So this is a whole other discussion that we'll have someday. But there's another type of iron in vegetables, an iron that is slightly different, slightly less easy to absorb than animal-based iron, but still it's present in those foods, and it's a rich source of iron. And what more, the link between the iron and the vitamin C serves as a help to absorb the iron from the leafy greens. So whenever you have iron, it's interesting to pair it with vitamin C because it helps with absorption. That's why you've seen probably all those recipes with spinach and strawberries, you know, and sometimes you wonder why would they put a fruit with a salad? And that's the reason. It's called food combining. There's a lot of science behind it. And basically putting a food rich in vitamin C, like those oranges, grapefruit, or strawberries, raspberries in a salad, so in something that is rich in iron, will make sure that your body absorbs it better. Okay, you'll remember that. And finally, we always say it's your the best food on your weight loss journey. It's not because it's going to make you lose weight. It's not as direct as this. Again, there's no magic pill, guys. If you want to lose weight, you eat a little bit less, a little bit better. But the truth behind the leafy greens and the reason why we use it on a weight loss journey is that all the water and fiber that it contains helps you feel fuller for longer. So they fill you up. You all know this. Eating fibers or drinking water can fill you up and make you less hungry. That's the purpose of these things. And they're also low in calories. They're the lowest in calorie. We call it a very low glycemic index. And the combination of being low in calorie, which means you can eat a lot, and being full of fiber and water, which means that it will keep you fuller for longer, will keep you less hungry, and therefore you will eat less, and therefore you will lose weight. So they're very interesting for that purpose. Any questions so far?
Nope.
No? Super. Are you already a bit excited?
I have a question, Sophie.
Yes.
What's the difference between eating them raw and cooked?
Alors, it's a very good question. There's two ways to enjoy, actually more than two, but two ways to enjoy vegetables. Either you eat them raw, like this, or you cook them, and there's an in-between. So when you eat something raw, it's more difficult for your digestive system to assimilate.
Sure.
It takes more time. So the raw food diet is very extreme in some ways. For some people, it works well. Again, we're all bio-individual. We're all very different. We all have a history of what we've been eating all our life. And therefore, I cannot tell you, eat raw food or eat cooked food. You have to try for yourself. What I can tell you, though, is that eating things raw has a much higher nutrient density. So you're eating more nutrient. That doesn't mean that you're absorbing them. So again, it depends. If you're not able to absorb them, you're just eating a lot. But is your body using it to perform the things to make your organs work their best? That I don't have the answer to. But they give you more energy because the energy comes from the enzymes, the nutrients that are in there. And when you cook, the process of cooking destroys part of the enzymes, parts of the nutrients, and therefore you get a bit less. However, some people are much better off starting with cooked veggies. They still, it's not that you get zero, they still get the nutrients. Very interesting, and it's much easier for their body to process. I always recommend to eat raw during lunchtime because that's an Ayurvedic concept. That's where your digestive fire is at its peak, and that's where you're most able to digest your raw food. So go ahead and at lunch, indulge in raw salads. You chop, you put a nice olive oil and lemon juice, and you enjoy it raw. At night, in the evening, I always prefer people to start with, a cooked bok choy leaf next to a piece of fish or anything. So that's what I would advise to start with. Eat a lot of raw vegetables at lunchtime and eat them cooked in the evening. Okay. Now, there is an in-between. There's what we call wilted veggies. And that's a bit like what we're going to do with this. If I ask you to roll this leaf, it will crack. It will crack. You will not be able to roll it. So what we're going to do is we're going to plunge it into warm water, not to cook it, but to wilt it, to just give it a to make them softer. Okay? They will become softer and easier to digest, easier to roll, easier to process. And this is still considered eating raw, so we're good. So it means that we're keeping most of the nutrients in this way. Okay? Now, I just want to show you, because some of you might know all of them already, some of you might not. You'll tell me. I want to start with the king of the nutrition world. It's the kale. There's a variety of different types of kale. I'm going to show you two of my favorites. So you have the usual curly kale, and then you have the lacinato kale. I don't know if you've seen this one in Europe. It's delicious, and I find it very nice in stir fries or in a soup or even in a salad. I'm going to give you a tip on cooking kale. I'm going to stop each time to give you my version of how I would eat them. So first, chop, put in a smoothie, blend, no problem. Next thing is that with kale and with lots of these harder leaves, a bit like collard leaves as well, one way to make them much more digestible is to massage them with olive oil and salt and possibly lemon, which makes it very tasty. So what you'll do is you'll cut it, put it in a bowl, and then start a drizzle of olive oil, a bit of sea salt, and you start massaging it, and it becomes soft. 1 minute is enough, and then that's your base for a salad. But that's much better than trying to eat this as a base for salad. You will get digestive issues, okay? So next time you get kale, massage it first in olive oil, salt, and a bit of lemon, and put that in as a base of your next salad, okay? Then we have the collard greens, which are called the chou vert in French. This is it. It's very unlikely that you've enjoyed eating this before. It's very rough, very bitter. However, the same way as kale, I like to chop it thin, massage it, use it as a base for a salad. I also tried something that I posted this morning. You can go and have a look later, but it's kale chips or collard green chips. So you just make little chunks of it, put it in a baking tray, oil, salt, and anything you want, spices, and then you make it to bake in your oven, hot oven on 200 degrees Celsius or 400 Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. It's gonna become crispier, and then you let it rest in the oven so it completely dehydrates and comes out something crispy like a kale chips or a collard green chips. The kids adore it. Your husband will too, the whole family. It's delicious and it's a nice snack. So this is something you can start to snack on, okay? So nice ideas of things to do. But literally, what I love doing is that I roll this thing. I take a knife, a chopping board, and you make slices, and then you put that in your omelet. You put that in your scrambled eggs in the morning. They will wilt. They will cook in the heat of the food that you're making, so that they don't cook too much, so you still have the benefits of it, and they add some flavors to it. You can add it in your quinoa, your rice, anything. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Moving on to les blettes in French.
Ah, c'est ça que j'ai acheté.
Swiss chard, yeah. And you recognize them because they're colorful. Some of them are yellow stem, red stem like this one, or green stem. They're delicious. They're a bit more soft than the others, and you can do exactly the same thing. You could put them anywhere in your food as an add-on. They're delicious. I wanted to see if I had anything. Yeah, collard greens are the one higher in choline. So remember the good mood and the good sleep, go for them. They're the highest of all. You have the spinach, you have the arugula, la roquette. All these are very famous. They need no introduction. I'm not going to tell you how to use them, either raw in a salad or cooked in your eggs. Delicious. And the one I recently became addicted to is le cresson, the watercress. A bit more tangy, a bit more bitter. They're delicious. You know what? Like the arugula and watercress, I discovered that when you make a soup, whatever the soup is, at the end of it, before blending it, you pour your soup in a blender, and then you add fresh arugula or watercress at the end. So they don't cook, they wilt in the heat of the soup. It gives your soup a bright color instead of those cooked soup brownish, not very appealing soups, okay? And this one will be bright, will be full of flavor. At the end, a kick of enzymes and of nutrients. That's what you need to try, okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Nat. We're going to move to the recipe. Nat has to go back to work. The final touch is the bok choy. This is a baby bok choy, so smaller. I love this. You normally only eat this in Asian restaurants, and that's what I used to do. And until I learned that, you only have to cut it, drop it in a pan at the last minute of you cooking a fish, for instance. You cook a fish, last 2 minutes, you drop it in the pan, a pinch of salt and a drizzle of soy sauce or anything, and then it comes out delicious, cooked in 2 minutes. Okay, so now let's do it. Everybody grab, we're going to make this recipe. I want you to start with this. You all take a big bowl where you're going to put your leaf. So you choose your leaf. Hey, Karen. Hey, you're coming right on time for the recipe. We're starting now.
Okay.
So everybody take a green leaf. Make sure that it's at least the littlest destroyed as possible, okay? And you're going to take some warm water. I have here warm. It's not at all boiling. Boiling will make it shrink too much. So just warm water in which you're going to plunge your leaf just to make it softer, okay? So start doing this. In this water, you will add some salt. And a bit of lemon juice. If you don't have this, this is...
Sauf on les met une par une ou on met les quatre dedans?
Let's only make one together. It's going to be far easier than you can make the rest on your own. We'll only make one roll, which creates... Okay, it's easier for everyone.
Yeah.
A little bit of lemon, and then you let it... Okay, then you put it on the side. You're with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to, while it's cooking in the warm water, we're going to prepare our base. So whenever you create a wrap, be it with sushi, nori, leaves, or even a wrap with tortillas like you're used to making, the base is important, is something that will stick a bit. So either hummus base, a guacamole, or anything that creates a stickiness. So that's what we're going to make now. And the purpose of this recipe is to introduce something new, some other ingredients that you probably haven't done something similar with. And this time I chose pecan nuts. But let me tell you something, it could work with hazelnuts, it would be delicious. It would work with cashews, and I might add a bit of both in mine. It works with anything. I didn't want to choose almonds because I'm personally a bit more sensitive to almonds, but pecans are amazing.
I took pine nuts.
Pine nuts would be great. Yeah.
I roasted them before.
So you get your nuts, you're going to go and set up your food processor. All right. I think we all see there. And then follow the recipe. In the recipe I gave you, it's small quantities. I suggest, if you want to do it, make it for more people, make it to enjoy, if you're going to cook for longer. So I'm going to double up the quantities that are on this recipe. I'm going to double up. So instead of 1 cup of nuts, I'm going to put 2. Go ahead. 1 cup is about 250 milliliters. And I don't have enough. I'm going to add some cashew. And then next time, try with another nut to have a different taste. We're going to use coconut aminos. For most of you, I know it's very difficult to find in Europe. Not in this part, in the US, it's easy, but let me tell you, you could use soy sauce instead. Okay? The reason why I chose coconut amino is a replacement for soy sauce that is a bit healthier. Soy can interfere with estrogen for a few reasons. So I try to not use too much soy sauce, but it's good as well. So in here, I'm going to use not 1 tablespoon, but in this recipe, 2 tablespoons. Somebody's blending before I say blend. I hear you. I hear you. Now, if you are not used to using these things, they're a lifesaver. So that's organic garlic already minced, and that's organic ginger already minced. So this is 1, instead of half a teaspoon, I'll use 1 teaspoon, okay? And now I'm going to do the garlic, okay? Same amount. Next step, olive oil, guys.
Teaspoon?
So if you're topping up, it's 4 of them. Otherwise, it's 2. Listen, ladies, this is a base. This is just to show you, the way I teach the client, I coach all the time, is not to follow recipes, is follow your instinct. Yes, we need a recipe to discover something, but then go wild, go creative. Next time,
I love it.
Next time, use some toasted sesame oil instead of the olive oil. Next time, put some, I don't know, put a date in there for sweetness. You can put spices. Cumin would taste delicious. Cumin, paprika, go on. This is the base that I'm teaching you, and later on your own, feel free to try anything, okay? The sides, this. And please, no salt in this, because the soy sauce or coconut aminos will give it.
No pepper?
No salt. Pepper, if you like pepper, definitely go ahead. Keep it crunchy. Don't blend it too long. This is how it should look like.
C'est hyper bon.
C'est bon, hein?
Ouais.
Super bon.
Est-ce qu'il y a des gens qui trouvent ça vraiment pas bon? Are there people who really don't like it?
You have to keep it crunchy, huh? Not pasty.
Okay.
No, it's really good.
Non, c'est bon.
Non, c'est bon. Watching Top Chef, the French people there.
Il y a du croquant, il y a du gourmand.
Il y a du gourmand, du croquant, There's all these elements of sour, bitter, but crunch, smooth. I'm going to show you the tip to make it easier to roll. So you take your leaf, you put it on your board, and you dry it. Now, on here, what we're going to do is we're going to remove that part here to make it thinner. Not remove it, because otherwise it will be open, but do this to make it thinner. So look at me, I'm going to do this. Be very gentle, because you could ruin everything at this part, okay? Look, do you see? This way, you're not going to have a big thing. And now I have a pretty thing to work from. All right?
Yes.
All right.
We're good. Now it's time to cut the rest of the vegetables. So please put this aside. Things that I think go well with it. A piece of avocado, some peppers. They could be big or small, like these ones. And I like to add microgreens. You could have bean sprouts, like in the recipe. I couldn't find them. I've got this, microgreens. And go on and slice your veggies. Vous prenez votre avocat. Those are a great source of healthy
Avocat.
but they're more calorie dense. They're more, so don't go overboard with avocado. I know we could eat a lot. Slice it like this. Take a spoon or the back of a knife and scoop it out. This is when you could add some cucumber, some carrots. When you don't have anything else, you could use this. So I want everybody to tell me if you're ready to roll.
Ready to roll.
Ready to rock and roll?
Yes.
Keep a lemon on the side, because it will be nice to add some taste to it. Your base, Your pick and paste will give it most flavor. So ultimately, you don't need to add any spices, any salt, nothing. It's good as it is because of what contains here.
This made it bind together like that.
So everybody, take the amount that you wish. I'm going to show you. Take this and put it down. So keep some space at the extremities.
Okay. And
You will fold like this.
So, okay, like that.
So you've got your base on which you will start putting all avocado, your peppers.
You want to kind of...
Remember, you're going to have to roll this. Don't be too... some carrots if you want. Sprouts at the end. If you have sprouts, this is where you do it. I'm going to show you. Ready?
Good.
So you start with the extremities. That will ensure that nothing falls out. Then you do this. Look up.
Le problème, c'est qu'avec le...
Maëlle, watch.
Oui, oui, j'ai vu, parce que j'ai été coupée tout à l'heure.
Okay.
Je suis en train de faire.
And then you roll. Whenever you roll, you make sure with your little finger, wrap this part in. All right? You wrap this part in. A nice thing to do now would be either a squeeze of lemon or a bit more delicious paste there. It will help it stick together. It will add more flavor. And you continue to roll your burrito. More like a burrito, actually, yeah. And then what I do is that because this part is going to go away if you just serve it like this, I like to pinch it like this. And you gently, in the middle where the stem is, you cut it.
Ouais, mais moi, j'ai pas la bonne feuille.
And this is when you want to take a picture.
Oh!
Ah, c'est magnifique. Bravo.
Seriously.
Bah, chez nous aussi, c'est pas mal.
Wow, ouais, c'est pas mal,
Well done. Show me everybody.
Moi,
So pretty.
oh là là.
On a fait comme on a pu, hein, avec nos choux.
Jody, if you can take a picture where everybody's showing off their food, that would be amazing. C'est génial.
Ah bah voilà.
I can't wait to eat.